chosen one, August 11 to 13, is sacred. Heaven is moving. This is not just another set of days on the calendar. This is a divine window, 3 days where heaven's plans align with your path in ways you could not orchestrate on your own. The atmosphere in the spiritual realm will be charged with movement, and if you are aware, sensitive, and obedient, you will notice the subtle yet undeniable signs that God is shifting things in your favor. These days will not be for hesitation. They will be for positioning. They will be for stepping into alignment with what has already been spoken over your life. Heaven is not just watching. It is actively rearranging situations, opening gates, and placing you in the exact space you need to be for the next phase of your calling. Before we go further, pause. Take a moment to breathe deeply. Allow yourself to quiet the noise around you. Then, in the comments, write your clearest, most honest wish, the one that has been sitting deep in your spirit. Write it without fear, without hesitation, and seal it with 777. Not as a superstition, but as a declaration. That number is a vibration, a mark of divine order. When you write it, you align your desire with heaven's timing. You send out a signal that says, "I am ready. I agree with what is coming." That moment of writing is not small. It's sacred. It's you taking the first step into the flow of these 3 days. Now, chosen one, like this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. You must understand that windows like this don't happen every week. The spiritual weight behind August 11 to 13 is heavy because it is designed to release breakthroughs that have been building up for months, even years. Some of you have been in a prolonged season of waiting, feeling as though your prayers are being stored but not answered. This window is the release. It's the moment when stored blessings begin to overflow, not in small, measured portions, but in sudden surges. The kind of shift where one conversation changes your path, where one open door leads to a whole corridor of opportunities. And this isn't just about material things, it's about clarity, about stepping into a level of purpose where distractions lose their grip on you entirely. In these days, pay close attention to divine interruptions. They may come as sudden thoughts, unexpected calls, or moments where you are pulled in a direction you hadn't planned for. Don't brush them aside. These interruptions are not accidents. They are invitations. Invitations to walk a different street, to speak to a specific person, to say yes to something that scares you. Heaven's movement will rarely look predictable, and if you're expecting everything to make sense in the moment, you may miss it. Instead, remain open, remain aware, and remember that obedience is the bridge between instruction and breakthrough. You might feel an increase in pressure or urgency in your spirit during these days, but do not mistake that for anxiety. It is not fear. It is the quickening of your spirit as heaven's current starts pulling you into place. Think of it like standing on the edge of a wave that's about to carry you far beyond where you could swim on your own. You don't need to control the current. You need to trust it. That's why preparation before August 11th is crucial. Empty your schedule of unnecessary noise, declutter your mind, and decide now that you will move when prompted, no matter how small or strange the instruction may seem. This window is sacred because heaven's movement is not random, it is precise. The people you will meet, the ideas you will have, the paths that will open, they will all connect like pieces of a puzzle you didn't even know you were building. This is why you cannot let fear, doubt, or past disappointments hold you back in these days. There is no room for hesitation. August 11 to 13 will not wait for you to feel ready. They will happen, with or without your engagement. But if you choose to engage, if you choose to lean in, you will not only see the movement of heaven, you will feel it reshaping the very foundation beneath your feet. And when these days come, remember this: the blessing is not just in the result, it's in the positioning. You may not see the full picture immediately, but you will know in your spirit that something irreversible has shifted. You will carry a quiet certainty, a knowing that you have stepped into alignment with something far greater than your own plans. That is the sacred nature of this window. It is not just about receiving, it is about becoming the version of yourself who can carry what is about to be placed in your hands. When the 11th arrives, the shift won't necessarily announce itself with fireworks or loud declarations. It may begin quietly, almost invisibly, like a faint hum in the atmosphere that only those who are tuned in can hear. This is why your posture matters so much. You must be spiritually awake. The movement of heaven is not always about visible miracles in the first hour. Sometimes it's about positioning you in places that seem ordinary, but are loaded with divine setups. A conversation in a hallway, a chance encounter, a small door that opens without warning. These can be the carriers of life-altering change. The key is to treat nothing as random. Every moment in these days will either be a step toward your destiny or a missed opportunity to step into it. You might notice subtle signs, a sudden clarity of thought, an unexpected release of peace, a boldness in your decisions that you didn't have last week. This is heaven aligning you internally before it aligns you externally. It's preparing your mind to hold new ideas and your heart to hold new levels of responsibility. And this preparation is not passive. You will feel the nudge to clean out what doesn't belong: habits, relationships, commitments that drain you instead of filling you. It will feel urgent because it is urgent. These days are not for dragging dead weight into the new season. If you feel a pull to let something go, let it go quickly. August 12th will carry a different weight than the 11th. While the 11th is about positioning, the 12th is about activation. This is when certain moves will need to be made without hesitation. The instruction may not make complete sense to you at first, but your obedience will unlock what you've been praying for. Some doors will not open unless you are willing to knock without overthinking. Some opportunities will not wait until you feel comfortable enough to take them. That's why preparation in your spirit before these days is essential. You need to be in a place where hesitation no longer has authority over you. And as you move through this sacred time, pay attention to the unexpected confirmations. You may hear a stranger speak words that sound like they were meant only for you. You may see numbers, symbols, or patterns that seem to follow you from place to place. These are not coincidences, they are signals. Heaven will use anything to get your attention when it's trying to steer you in the right direction. Keep a journal during these days. Write down every sign, every word, every shift in your spirit. Later, you will see how they all connect like threads in a tapestry you couldn't have woven yourself. The 13th will be a sealing day. By the time this final day in the window closes, certain things will have been set in motion that cannot be undone. For some, it will be the sealing of a new season. For others, it will be the final cutting away of what's been holding them back. The beauty is that either way, you will be lighter, freer, and more aligned than you were before. The question is, will you move when heaven moves? Because the truth is, heaven can position you, open doors, and even hand you the key, but it cannot walk through the door for you. That step is yours. You must understand, these days are not about watching from the sidelines. They are about stepping fully into the current of God's movement and allowing it to carry you higher and further than you have ever been. If you treat August 11 to 13 as just another weekend, you will miss the sacredness of what's happening. But if you lean in, listen closely, and obey promptly, you will remember these days for the rest of your life, not because of what you saw in the moment, but because of the irreversible change they brought into your future. By the time you step into the morning of August 11th, you must already be carrying the posture of someone who knows they're in the middle of something sacred. This is not the time to be casual with your words, your thoughts, or your choices. Every action you take will either agree with the move of heaven or work against it. And when God declares a window sacred, it means the atmosphere is loaded with accelerated consequence. Obedience brings multiplied favor, but disobedience carries multiplied delay. You cannot afford delay right now. The timing is too precise, the orchestration too intentional. Heaven has already set things in motion, but whether you walk in alignment will determine how much of it you can actually receive. There's a reason heaven doesn't announce every detail ahead of time. It's because faith is forged in the unseen. If you knew every step before taking it, there would be no need to trust. And right now, these days are as much about developing your trust as they are about delivering your breakthrough. You will find that in this window, hesitation is one of the greatest thieves. Opportunities may appear and vanish in hours, and only those with the courage to move without complete explanation will see the fullness of what's available. On the 12th, don't be surprised if you're called to make a decision that seems risky from a human perspective. It might be a conversation you've avoided, a bold step toward a long-delayed goal, or a surrender of something you've been holding on to for security. Heaven's movement often feels like disruption at first, because it dismantles the systems you've built around your comfort. But you must remember, comfort zones are graveyards for destiny. The move you've been asking for will require you to leave the place you've been standing. The sacred nature of these 3 days means you will also feel the tension between what was and what is becoming. You might feel a sense of grief for the old season, even as you rejoice in the new. That's normal. It's the stretching of your soul to fit a larger calling. You're shedding the skin of who you used to be so you can walk in the identity that's been waiting for you all along. That process isn't painless, but it's holy. By the 13th, things will begin to click in ways you couldn't have forced on your own. The clarity you've been praying for will start to take shape, and the weight you've been carrying will begin to lift. Some answers will come in the form of release. Opportunities, or people you thought you needed, will be removed. Others will come in the form of divine appointments, connections, and openings that arrive at the exact right moment. Either way, the sacred movement will be undeniable. You'll look back and realize that the orchestration was so precise that no human hand could have arranged it. And yet, even as these days close, your posture of attentiveness must remain. The sacred doesn't end just because the calendar changes. What you do after August 13th will either preserve the momentum or allow it to fade. Too many people receive divine acceleration and then slip back into old rhythms, not realizing that what was meant to multiply has been reduced by neglect. You must stay awake. You must stay moving. Because this is not just about 3 days. It's about the shift in you that will carry forward into every day after. As the dust of August 13th begins to settle, you'll notice something. What changed during these days wasn't just the circumstances around you. It was the architecture within you. Heaven's movement is never only about external blessings. It's about internal alignment. You are not the same person you were before this sacred window opened. There is a steadiness in your spirit now, a sharper discernment in your decisions, and a deeper clarity in your vision. And here's the truth. Once your inner world changes, your outer world has no choice but to follow. This is why the days immediately after a divine shift are so critical. The enemy's strategy is often to get you to doubt what just happened. He will whisper that you imagined it, that nothing is different, that the heaviness you feel means you've failed. But you must remember, spiritual recalibration can feel like pressure. Just because you're carrying more doesn't mean you're burdened. It means you've been trusted with weight you now have the strength to hold. In these moments, guard your environment. Not everyone can handle the version of you that's emerging. Some will try to reduce you back to the size that fit their comfort zone. Others will question the urgency you now live with, not understanding that you've seen too much to go back. Protect your focus. Heaven didn't go to this much effort to wake you up just for you to fall asleep again. Over the next few days, you'll begin to see patterns. Doors that were locked will begin to open with less resistance. Conversations that felt impossible before will happen naturally. It will feel almost as if the path is clearing itself in front of you. That's not coincidence. That's the residue of obedience. Sacred seasons leave behind a trail of favor that continues to guide you even after the moment has passed. But don't mistake favor for autopilot. This is still a partnership between heaven's movement and your actions. You'll still need to show up, to speak when you'd rather stay silent, to act when you'd rather wait. The difference now is that you're not acting from desperation. You're moving from a place of alignment. You're not chasing blessings anymore. Blessings are chasing you. And here's something you must hold on to. This chapter of your life is not meant to blend in with the rest. It's meant to stand out as a turning point, a before and after moment that redefines your story. Years from now, you will look back on these days not as a brief wave of inspiration, but as the season where you finally stepped into who you were always meant to be. The sacred movement didn't just pass through you, it stayed in you, marking you forever. By the time August 13th fades into memory, you'll realize that something irreversible has happened. You can't unknow what heaven has revealed to you. You can't unsee the way the pieces were moved, the way the timing was orchestrated, the way certain events lined up with a precision no human hand could replicate. It will feel as though the curtain over your life has been pulled back, and now you can see the machinery of divine strategy at work. You'll notice that your desires have shifted. The things that once felt urgent will lose their grip on you, and the things you used to overlook will suddenly shine with new importance. This is the recalibration of your calling. Heaven isn't just interested in moving you forward. It's interested in moving you toward the exact coordinates of your assignment. Every blessing, every delay, every challenge that took place during this sacred window was meant to narrow your focus until you could see your path with unshakable clarity. And this is where the true test begins. You see, sacred seasons often give way to seasons of responsibility. It's easy to feel the fire when heaven is moving all around you, when confirmations seem to fall like rain. But what happens when the movement quiets? What happens when the signs are fewer, and you're left with the memory of what God did and the choice to keep building on it? That's when you prove whether you've been changed or merely inspired. This chapter demands that you live differently now. Not louder, not more recklessly, but more intentionally. You will be tempted to share every detail of what you've experienced with people who aren't ready to understand it. But resist that urge. Some revelations are not meant to be explained. They're meant to be embodied. Let your transformation speak louder than your explanations. As you step forward, you'll also notice an acceleration. The opportunities, relationships, and resources that enter your life now will align with your new position, not your old one. And this is where discernment is vital, because not everything that looks like favor is from God. The enemy is crafty and will try to slip counterfeits into your path, hoping you'll mistake them for blessings. Slow down, listen closely, and remember that true favor never asks you to compromise your values. This is why you were prepared in the quiet before the movement began, so that when heaven finally shifted things for you, you would have the character to sustain the change. This is not the time to hesitate, nor is it the time to sprint blindly. This is the time to walk with purpose, with your head high and your spirit tuned to the same frequency that carried you through August 11 to 13, because when this chapter closes, you will carry its weight and its wonder into every single day that follows. And the mark of this sacred movement will not fade. It will live in the way you speak, the way you decide, and the way you trust. You won't just remember these days, you'll live from them. And now, chosen one, carry this fire into every step you take. Let your life echo the sacred days you've just walked through. The shift has happened. The seal is set. Nothing can undo it. Walk boldly, for heaven's movement is now your momentum, and your story has only just begun.